So let's review how we hacked into a Windows box with no username, no password from before, and created our own user account at the administrator level. So we were a super user on that Windows box. Well, first of all, we used our first special key combination. That was an F2 or F12, delete, whatever it takes to get into your BIOS, so that we could boot from that Windows install disk. We clicked troubleshoot, clicked command prompt, and then we issued our two of our four commands. CD to just change directories into C Windows System 32 or D Windows System 32. We copied that old setHC, the high contrast or sticky keys file, over to something else so that we could put it back eventually. We might want to be able to use sticky keys again in the future. Then we copied command.exe, the command prompt, over to that setHC. We restarted the computer, so our second boot. At the login screen, we pressed our second key combination, the shift key, 5 times. And now instead of sticky keys assistant coming up, we got a command prompt window. So if we wanted to change our username, all we'd have to do at that point is say net user, our username, and the password. If we wanted to add a new user, we had to do net user and the username, password, /add. And then if we want to promote either us or someone else, that new user, to an administrator, net local group administrators, the username, like Iron Man, for example, add. That's all it took. Then when we rebooted the machine, we were in complete control, or when we logged in using that administrative password, we had complete access. So what are some of the things we learned? First of all, physical access is total access. If you leave your laptop behind, if you leave your desktop unattended, whether at work or at school, you can come back, and if someone has access to stick in just a USB drive, or if they have a chance to stick a physical DVD in, they can run this simple hack. It takes about 5 or 6 minutes once you're pretty good at it, less on a faster computer that reboots more quickly. One other thing we learned is that ethical hacking can be really practical, very useful. So if you have an old computer or someone's given you a computer that you own and have total permission to use, then you can use this quick Windows hack to set up a user account. To protect against it, whenever we learn how to hack something, we're going to talk about how we can protect against it. Now, first of all, this works on machines from Windows XP 2000 all the way up to Windows 10.1, the newest Windows right now. And the only way to protect against it, well, first of all, never leave your computer unattended so that no one has access to it. But you can change a BIOS setting usually to require a password to change the boot order or to change the boot device. In fact, that's what we do here on my campus. This old computer, I was able to do this too because it was before we started changing the BIOS settings so that you had to have a password, an administrative level password or an IT password, to be able to boot from a USB drive or from a CD-ROM. But for older computers, this is pretty much the standard way to do it. Even for new computers that haven't been set up with a BIOS password, you'll be able to create a user and make them an administrator pretty easily. So really practical stuff. It shows us that we have to be careful who has access to our things. Shows us that we can really do some hands-on useful work with ethical hacking. And we've even learned a little bit about how to protect against it. In the next section, we're going to see how to set up an entire lab or a virtual lab of computers that will let you work on Windows, Linux, even Android devices, so that we can do a little bit of practice on our ethical hacking skills and see how to test for vulnerabilities and then how to fix certain vulnerabilities across lots of different types of machines. We'll see you in the next section.